Here we are at about 20 minutes after 5 in the evening at Manassas Station. And this is Manassas Line train 338 en route to Washington, D.C. Excuse me. One of only a couple of reverse moves for the evening rush. And here we have MPI's MP36PH3C locomotive number V62, providing the motive power for this train. This train's next stop is going to be Alexandria. You know, why can't they run expresses like these during the morning for all the DC commuters going into work? I mean, you'd think they would, calling themselves Virginia Railway Express. But hey, it's still a commuter train, you know? Keeps cars off of our roads and all that. And that's a good thing. Here we go. Location is the West Street grade crossing just outside of Manassas Station itself. Excuse me. Over there we've probably got some kind of Norfolk Southern freight waiting to take off. But yeah, it's at about this time that all the aircraft warning lights are switching from day mode to night mode. Yeah, what we're on here is old Southern Railroad trackage. Incidentally, one of my favorite exhibits at the Smithsonian Museum of American History is a green engine called Charlotte. Southern Railroad number 1401, built by Elko in the 1920s, class PS4. As iconic to the Southern as the J class is to the old Norfolk and Western. And just a couple minutes after Manassas 338 leaves Manassas en route to D.C., here comes Manassas Line train 329 at nearly 5:30 in the evening. There's those ditch lights going. And all the crossing gates are coming down. Yep, there goes West Street right now, just behind me. Listen to that horn work. That was MP36PH3C, number V59, providing the motive power. Next station will be Broad Run, the very last one, as a matter of fact. Yep. VRE's running with all these gallery cars. have been since these particular models have been around for about a decade now.
Caution, the doors are about to close.
Yep. And here we go, off to its final destination at Broad Run Airport. See, unlike northeastern cities like New York and Philadelphia, and even a Midwestern city like Chicago, the D.C. area isn't blessed with their frequency of trains. As a matter of fact, Virginia Railway Express is going to be turning 30 this year. It's amazing how far they've come. The Manassas Line was the first to start operations in June of 1992, and the Fredericksburg Line began operations about a month afterwards. It started its life with a bunch of rebuilt GP40s and some Mafursa coaches, said coaches now running Shoreline East services. Then they switched to a bunch of Kawasaki-built bi-level cars, but those were all sent off to the MARC train running between Washington, D.C. and either Baltimore or Martinsburg, West Virginia. Then they started using old Pullman-built gallery cars from the mid-2000s until those Nippon Sharyo-built cars came along around 2010, 2011. And that freight train over there is still waiting to take off. And you can hear that horn off in the distance from VRE Manassas Line 329. Good morning, everyone. It is about 5 minutes to 5 in the morning on Thursday, January 13th, 2022. Those lights you see are from the lead engine of a pair of Norfolk Southern engines, specifically 9767 and 9787. It looked like they were finally getting underway vis-a-vis last night, but now they're backing away from Manassas. Interesting. Anyway, in just a moment, Virginia Railway Express train number 322, the very first Manassas Line train of the morning, will be getting underway from Broad Run Airport, with a final destination of Washington, D.C.'s Union Station. You know, I've never understood what that little platform over there was ever for. It's not long enough to really make it possible to have service on both tracks. One interesting thing, well, two actually. One is a Southern Railway boxcar, and the other is a Southern Railway caboose. And as you can see, I'm focusing on the caboose here. The boxcar is on the other end of the platform. And just beyond that little platform there is the Harris Pavilion, which is a popular event venue here in Manassas. And now at about 5:09 in the morning, here comes the aforementioned Manassas Line train 322. Again, this is the first train of the morning on the VRE Manassas Line. And again, it is making its way to Washington Union Station. And I'm guessing it is slowing down for the Norfolk Southern freight on the other track. Yep, there go the ditch lights. Please see a conductor before boarding if unable to validate. Thank you for riding the VRE. Led by cab car V725. And with MP36PH3C number B55 providing the motive power for the train. You probably can't see the road number very well because it's not backlit. But there it is, you can see it just a little bit better, illuminated partly by the crossing gate lights and partly by the street lights from West Street here. And we are about to take off. Well, this particular train is. Basically, the way VRE runs is, all of their trains going into DC have the locomotive pushing, while they pull coming out of DC. I forgot to mention there was a thank you Chicago and Northwestern for that little bit of railroad innovation, with the word Southern in white letters just below the platform. On the other side of this flat car will be the word Love in tall white letters affixed to the other side of this flat car. There's even some stairs on the side with the caboose. But yes, this boxcar does indeed say Southern, and here's their motto, Southern serves the South. And it appears that Norfolk Southern freight that I mentioned earlier must be making some shunting moves. Yes, I know we call it switching here in the U.S., but just goes to show you how much Thomas the Tank Engine and Shining Time Station were a part of my childhood. And those days when I would listen to the dulcet tones of Ringo Starr.
So now at 5:27 in the morning,
Thomas stories,
we see Manassas Line train 324,
and those were the
which
days.
leaves 20 minutes after 3:22, approaching Manassas Station here. This train, too, will be heading toward Washington Union Station. I did mention previously that Washington, D.C. commuter trains don't run as frequently as, say, SEPTA or Long Island Railroad, or even Chicago Metra for that matter. Led by cab car V730. And providing the motive power for the train is MP36PH3C, number V58. Basically, the VRE has been running these MP36PH3Cs exclusively since the early 2010s, if I remember correctly. Basically replacing a bunch of rebuilt GP40 locomotives and even some F40PHs, most likely lent to VRE by Metra. And here we go. Now the next Manassas Line train, train number 326, doesn't leave until a few minutes before 6 in the morning. See, that's what I meant by infrequency of service. Well, outside of the Washington metro area, but that's rapid transit, not commuter rail. And so now we're going to bid a fond farewell to Manassas as we head to the other side of the county for the Fredericksburg Line. Our scene now shifts to the Woodbridge VRE and Amtrak station here in Woodbridge, Virginia. To my right, you will see the station building. To my left, a bus stop serving several local and long-distance commuter routes. That bus you see in front of us is of the Woodbridge Lake Ridge A loop, which is the counterclockwise loop for the two towns, with the B loop being the clockwise loop. Also serving this stop are the Route 1 Omnilink buses and the Tyson's Corner commuter buses. Excuse me. Now this station lies on what used to be the Richmond, Fredericksburg, and Potomac Railroad, the old RF&P. That got absorbed into CSX in 1991, just a year before the Virginia Railway Express started its operations. Again, that's Manassas Line in June, and Fredericksburg Line a month later. Now making my way toward the platforms, which, as you can see, are a ways in from the station building itself. It's going to be another 10 minutes before the next Fredericksburg Line train shows up. To wit, that will be Fredericksburg Line number 306. As I was trying to find a place to park this morning, Fredericksburg Line train 304, the third train to leave Spotsylvania for DC in the morning, was pulling out. As you can see, there is another platform over on the other side, and a footbridge up above connecting the two. And would you look at that? That's one of those Amtrak long-distance trains. I'll have to look up which one that was. Not sure if that's the returning Crescent or the Silver Meteor or Silver Star, but it was definitely one of the long-distance trains. Here comes the aforementioned
I saw some of those
Viewliner sleeper cars on the end. En route to Washington Union Station.
6 is now arriving. Please stand behind the yellow line and allow passengers to detrain before boarding. All tickets must be validated prior to boarding. Please see a conductor before boarding if unable to validate. Thank you for riding the VRE.
Here's cab car V727 leading the train. Let's step back so the regular crowd can shuffle on.
Now at Woodbridge. Tickets must be validated prior to boarding the train.
Caution, the doors are about to close. Caution.
And there's the door chimes of these Nippon Sharyo-built gallery cars. And away we go. Providing the motive power for this train is MP36PH3C number V56. Or was that 65? Right, so that Amtrak train that ran through Woodbridge, thought it said 65. In the few minutes before Fredericksburg 306 was the returning northbound Silver Meteor from Miami and Orlando, Florida. Its final destination will be New York Penn Station. But here for your viewing pleasure right now as we wait for Fredericksburg Line 308 is the Route 1 Omni Ride bus. Again, it starts its run technically down near Quantico, but it waits here for a few moments before returning to Quantico. And already, so now we're here on the other side. We can see the beginnings VRE of the sunrise. And off to my right here, you will see, among other things, the bus stop for the Prince William Metro Direct buses. Now, these buses only serve this stop in the afternoon during the week because they go out to Franconia Springfield Metro Station by way of Potomac Mills in the morning and return to the PRTC Transit Center in the morning by Route 1. And then in the afternoons, they go out to Franconia Springfield via Route 1, stopping here before going on to I-95, and they return via Potomac Mills.
So now we're taking a much different perspective
So
as
any
VRE Fredericksburg
Prince
Line train
William buses you
308
see
approaches Woodbridge.
We'll all be over
And
there
right
on the main
here,
road.
more or less in the middle of the footbridge above the tracks, so that I can see the train leaving this station from above. And here's cab car V712 leading the train. Probably won't be able to get the road number of the MP36PH providing the motive power for the train, as I am high up and the road numbers on the engines are not backlit, as far as I can tell. Alright, doors closing. It's time for the train to head on out. Yeah, I know it's hard to see the train departing. At least you can tell it's leaving. And off it goes to Washington Union Station. Now, as I take my leave of Woodbridge VRE at just a few minutes to 7 in the morning... Hang on a tick, what's this? Must be a CSX train. Led by a single engine, but still. So cool. Let's watch it from the other side. Ah, an engine in the middle, it looks like. long freight. Man, oh man. There it goes. So as I was saying before that CSX freight showed up, as I take my leave of Woodbridge at close to 7 in the morning, we can start to see a lovely sunrise developing. I'm on the topmost level of the parking deck at Woodbridge Station. Meanwhile, looks like we have some buses down there. Well, a bus and some other transit vehicle.